I think I'm getting the hang of this, you guys. I'm not gonna turn the light on. I know it's kind of sad looking without the light, but it's been I recorded a video this afternoon and it was blinking. And I don't think it should be because I put new batteries in it. So I'm just gonna leave it. But it's there. Hi everybody. My name is Joy, astronaut of life. I am a psychic and a high vibing storyteller. That's kind of my thing. And here on this channel, you'll find meditations, you'll find interviews, and messages like this. So today, every Friday night, I talk kind of about like the energy of my week and some messages I got for everyone. So I'm gonna pull them up here on my computer. Ooh, yeah. How could I forget this? So, the biggest thing that happened for me this week that was like this theme that came up every freaking day was surrender. And I'll tell you kind of the how it came about and why. The why is important because well, I'll just tell you. So I just kind of redid my Etsy store, right? And I put a bunch of new things. I think I have like 19 products, which apparently you need a lot if you want to do good on Etsy. But so it's a lot of work, and I've been doing it, and I just wanted things to go a certain way. And the visual my guides keep showing me is I don't have a piece of paper, but somebody like crunching crunching a piece of paper or this tight grip, and they're like, Joy, this is what you want. Like, recognize the area in your life where you're going like this. And so I saw this image and it was very profound for me. So I just thought on it, right? And I was like, okay, what areas am I like holding too tight? And I realized, yeah, totally doing it with the Etsy shop. Just, like, oh, I want to get it done and perfect. When I truly, if I really stop and think about it, I want to just, like, not be super chill, but in the zone with it where I'm not forcing anything or trying to control how things go. And that's where the surrender part comes in. So I would try to do this every day. Not always, it didn't always work, but it was my intention. And so I've been working with that. Another thing I realized, which was big, was I just really love my life right now. I love what I do every day, and I love where I do it, who I do it with. I just love everything, and I was also clinging to that because I'm in a transition time where I'm going into an unknown in my life, and this image, oh my gosh, I just kept seeing it, and it was like you're clinging to your comfort zone. I mean, yeah, things are great right now, and it's beautiful to have gratitude for all these blessings you are receiving right now, but don't cling to them, Joy. And I also needed the reminder because they were like, don't cling to it, Joy, because every time you transition, oh, hey, Anna, I know it's super early where you are. Oh my gosh. I don't think this is going to be super long today, but we'll see. And I don't have my mic attached, so hopefully you can hear me well. But yeah, so let me get my thought back. oh, I like my life too much, right? I'm clinging to it. And it was, yeah, they were like, if you release this, all you're letting in, which is unknown, but these are unknown new blessings, Joy. What if it could be better? What if it's, even more amazing than you are experiencing right now? Have you thought about this line of thought? Or are you like so super focused on, oh, if my life doesn't look the way it does right now, then it has to be worse than it is right now? And that's kind of what, oh my gosh, 2 a.m. That's kind of what they were confronting me with. And it was like some tough love feeling. Like, you really need to take a look at this and look at yourself and really evaluate these things. So that's what I've been doing. And I was still plugging away, still working. It, but kind of in the background, and when I meditate, which happened this week, I like would wake up at 6 a.m. every day and just naturally, and I would just get up and meditate. So it was mostly in the morning I would be doing this work. And like this morning, I woke up at 6:30 this morning, but um I went into meditation and I was just like, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender. And I said that for, I don't know, several, over and over again, because I'm just like, I don't think I've fully surrendered yet, and I just want to freaking learn this lesson so I can move past it, which isn't like the best attitude to have. But that's where it was, and so I'm like, okay, this is me doing it. I surrender. There, take it. Another visual that they've been using while I've been doing this work is like, don't really. We'll use this hair clip. I'll see like my hands like this, and there's something in my hands. I don't really focus on what it is. It's like a orb of light or worry. I'm not sure. It's more about the hands, and I'm holding it, and I just see the hands, and I know they're mine. And then let me make sure I catch this. And they drop what they're holding like this. And when the little thing drops that my hands were holding, there's these huge God hands that come in and catch, you know, the little thing that I dropped. And it was just like, it's trust fall time. This is you surrendering. This is your life. Ooh, I like this. Now I'm figuring it out. This is your life that you're so, in love with, that you need to be willing to let it change and grow for the better. And it's like that. So that was another visual that they've showed me multiple times as I've been doing this work. And it showed up this morning again, too, like right as I was doing the I surrender, I surrender, I surrender thing. That's when it showed up. And yeah, then it turned into this beautiful vision of protection. And I guess I can talk about that a little bit. Um, because when I used to envision protection around myself, I'm talking energetically, it would look like this egg around me. And it would change colors based on different things I was working with. Um, but I was always in like cased in this egg like shape. And then, oh, I don't know, a few weeks ago, I was doing that. And no, this was more than a few weeks ago. This was like a month or so ago. The egg bursted, not just hatched, but like, like freaking blew the top off the egg. Or just at the same time, the inside expanded, and I saw this vision of this egg expanding into this light, and it was me. And I lived downtown, and it was like my light went up to the top of my building a little higher and just hovered over there like as this beacon in the city of Bogota where I live. And I was like, what? That's so amazing. That's like me now. Okay. And a knowing came with this vision, and it was my light now is my protection. I don't have to be an egg anymore. There's no egg. It's too big for an egg. Don't fit in an egg. I'm hatched, and now it's over the city, and like just me being me and being in my light, which I hope I'm explaining this okay. For me, my light is like the tiny little piece of source that is me, that I embody and represent. And so today in meditation, I saw that vision again, but it was added to, and it was kind of like a reminder about protection, because there's a lot of things happening at once. But as I was seeing things and the energy was moving, I could feel it in myself, which for me, I feel it mostly here. And it was like I connected into it, and it connected to the higher energies, right? Like the energies I'm seeing in this vision. And this time, and I was over Bogota, but the camera angle, my observer mode lens kind of changed, and I saw how my light was spreading, and it was like I was in a Google Earth, and I just saw it like a wave of light going in a large circle, touching the tip of Florida, covering half of South America. It was amazing, and it was like this tapping into yourself and then tapping into source, and like just being in your own energy. Obviously it grows it, but it's also like this is the method you use to protect yourself now. Like you tap into yourself, that source energy connected to the main oneness of source energy. And this is, there is no like I protect myself, blah blah blah, which is fine. I totally did that for a long time, and but this is just the way I've been shown to do it for myself, and to take it seriously, because I haven't always been the best with the protection. Okay, so that that's kind of the surrender story, and how I've personally been working on surrendering. And I'm getting all these messages like, you know, these things that you've been working towards are literally right around the corner. Just hang on for a little bit, and then you're there. You've put in all this work. Don't give up yet. So I'm having those messages too. And for me, I think I was just holding too tight, and it was just like, relax your grip a little bit. Okay, when you do that, if you do this, Joy, if you relax that grip and surrender the control of how things will go about, then they're just going to flow, and you're not going to have to worry about it. So, why don't you keep it go? So that's my attempt. That's what I'm attempting. Um, Another thing that popped up this week, which I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to talk about, um, is my friend Diana sent me this website that had these recordings on them called The Prophecy. The website's called sharetheprophecy.com. And so she sent this to me in the afternoon, and I listened. There's two parts, and I listened to one of them, and it was like, whoa, this is pretty I don't know. The lady that's speaking, her vibe is very high, and what she's saying felt very potent with energy, is how I'll put that. Um, so I listened to half of it, and then I had to do some other stuff, and then I got I just randomly decided to join this Twitter, what are they called? Spaces. I had a pop up saying, hey, there's a space starting now called Cosmic Lighthouse. Do you want to join? And I was like, Cosmic Lighthouse? Well, I like cosmic. That sounds like my jam, so sure, why not? I just went to check it out. And so the guy starts talking, and it turns out it was a spiritual thing, and he opened it up for everybody. So I was like, okay, I'm supposed to be like with this. I make YouTube now, so I guess I should probably like do this thing. Why not push myself? I'm not even on camera, so it's a little different. So I really, I don't know, I pressed some buttons and I was able to become a speaker. And I talked several times over like 2 hours with this awesome group of people that I randomly met on Twitter. And it was a great discussion. And a lot of the things we discussed, when I finished that, I went back to this sharetheprophecy.com website and I started listening to the second half, and a lot of the themes that were coming up I was noticing were themes I had just talked about in this Twitter space. And I don't want to like spoil alert this website for you. If you feel drawn to it, please go check it out. It'll take like 2 hours of your time. Just being upfront about that. But I'm gonna share at least one thing that was similar in both. And one thing I loved about this cosmic lighthouse guy, his name's Captain of my Captain, is his he is so many sci-fi analogies. Like, out of all the things in the world, I randomly join, and the man talks about Star Trek and like X Files. Oh, it was like a huge sign for me, which synchronicities are talked about in that prophecy thing too. So, like, if you don't know, I'm a huge sci-fi nerd. I have a Battlestar Galactica tattoo here. If you've ever wondered what it is, if you've seen it, it's sci-fi. So say we all. Um, yeah, so it that was pretty cool to meet somebody who was spiritual, and honestly, I think he knew a lot more about sci-fi trivia than I could. But if I was on a trivia night for sci-fi, I would totally want to be on a team with him, and we would freaking rock it. Okay, that's a huge side note. Anyway, one one thing he said was like this joke about there were too many flashlights in X Files. And I'm butchering it majorly, but I found it to be very funny. If you've ever watched all of the X Files, there is a lot of flashlight shots, so it just made me laugh because I never really thought about it. But they're like always in the woods with their freaking flashlights, right? And it's always like all these shadows. So that was funny, but the connector part that I'm eventually trying to get to is all of these flashlights, that's us, our lights. And as we're moving, as more of us are turning on our flashlights, what we're seeing, I'm speaking collectively here, I'm sorry, I forgot to say that part. I'm speaking collectively here, but as collective, we turn on our flashlights, as more and more of us do, we're going to get a clearer and clearer picture of what the freak is going on, right? So, yeah. I don't think it's a coincidence at all that I joined that or that we're both sci fi nerds. Obviously, we were meant to meet each other and connect as well as with the other people um, there at that space. Sorry, I didn't know what to call it. It's like Clubhouse. Okay, let me see. Well, and in that prophecy thing, it talks about, people who are awakened, for lack of a better word, are on an accelerated kind of path to these higher dimensions. And that's not to say they're better, it's just the kind of the contract that they've signed to do. It's just kind of their job, I guess. But it's more, they talk about how it's going to divide basically, and there's going to be more separation between the people who are getting upgrades from light and are incorporating them here in the 3D in the tangible world. And other people are going to stay in fear and they're not going to make this kind of upgrade with us. And which, I mean, that's kind of a sad thing to think about, and she does talk about that. I'm not really going to focus on that. I'm going to focus on the go back to the X Files with all the flashlights. As this separation occurs, I feel like those of us with a flashlight that's on, we're going to just find each other. And it's going to be as simple as joining a random Twitter space, um, and meeting cool random people. And I'm just seeing more and more of it. And it's just going to keep happening more and more and more for a lot of us. So I wanted to include that. I don't know. I had watching that second half of that watching it's a listening. I was listening to the second half of that prophecy thing, and it I could feel the energy. I felt entity presence behind me. It was really intense, and I wasn't even meditating. It felt literally like an activation. And a lot of the scenes she talks about, um, bits and pieces of it have come to me. I interpret them as, or I did interpret it. I can't talk. I I did at the time interpret these things as like a story idea. I like my stories kind of live in the realm of like the OA or Black Mirror or the Matrix. I don't know. Matrix might be a little out there, but things like that and that type of sci-fi. Not, I know I have astronaut, but I actually, and I know Battlestar Galactica my favorite story, as well as Star Trek, which are all spaceships, and I freaking love that. I love R2D2, but I actually don't write spaceship stuff. I write more metaphysically fringe, like friend. Like I like living in that realm, that part of this sci-fi. I am getting so off topic, but let me we're all coming together, guys. That's basically what I'm saying. So don't be surprised when you meet more soulmates. I think I've met more soulmates in the past 6 months than I have in my whole freaking life before that. Like, it is insane. It is insanely awesome and a little weird and also super cool. So I guess we just gotta go with it, right? The whole surrender. Just go with it. Yeah, and that's it. I got story ideas that literally are based on some of the things that she talks about in that audio. So if you feel called to, totally listen to it. Another thing, this is probably more personal, but I still wanted to mention it because it's just like coming up all the time, is the moon. Like, I don't know, I don't know if you can see, but I got these chakra boards over here, right? And sorry, I'm pulling up my other thing. And I got the idea to paint the moon cycle, which hopefully I'll do this weekend. And I was like, oh my gosh, I would love that, to paint the moon cycle and then use it when I do like special meditations or little rituals or something. And then I can't remember what. I was listening to something and they were talking about like you need to know your moon placement, or your moon placement will tell you blah 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 blah. I didn't know my moon. I'm talking about astrology. I didn't know my moon placement by heart, so I looked it up. And just in case you're wondering, I'm a Sagittarius moon in Western and the Scorpio moon in Vedic, and for me personally, they both resonate. And I learned about, I watched videos on both of those, and it was like, wow, okay, I feel very connected to the moon, and I I'm seeing a correlation now between the moon phases and kind of the way my psychic abilities work. Right now, my theory is I see more visuals, um, closer to the full moon, and then closer to the new moon time, it's more like this reprieve from visuals, and it's more like just incorporating and um, kind of taking in all the visuals I saw in that other phase. So I I don't really know crap about the moon. This is just something that's been popping up literally every day in random ways for me, and I'm just throwing it out there. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to meditate before I jumped on today, but I did get a few messages for this coming week. One thing I heard was activations coming this upcoming week. Prepare your bodies for when it happens. Rest and drink water, which I'm not sure how those will show up, but they could show up. Then when I did meditate, I saw two visuals, which were both positive and they both carried a positive energy. And the first one I saw was this foot kicking a soccer ball, and the soccer ball goes in the goal. And at first I was like, well, didn't Colombia just play in some game for the World Cup and they lost? Um, so that's just me. So I kept at it, and nope, it popped up again, and it was very intense. So um, I was like, okay, okay, I get it. The soccer ball is the thing, and it was the goal being made. Another thing after that I saw was someone swimming on a lake, floating with their arms out, and they seemed so carefree. And I saw these pine trees all around the lake. I used to live in Oregon, and it totally reminded me of Oregon, with like the fog over the water, this calm, still place and nature with a lot of green, beautiful water. And for me, this is kind of like last week where I got all those images and had to interpret them. This time, my interpretation of these messages is, if you surrender, you're going to be like that person floating on the lake, even if it's foggy. To me, the fog is literally the chaos all around us, this negative energy bubble that we're all in, right? That's around us in this lower 3D. But we can choose to be like, yeah, it's foggy, it's too foggy to enjoy this lake. We could choose that. We can also choose to just float there. Close our eyes in the freaking fog, doesn't matter, right? And it's just tapping into that inner peace, like in my new protection thing. Yeah, guys, keep doing it. I know it's hard. Look, literally, you've heard me talk about it. The soccer ball, not a goal being made, that just rang like, yeah, like something good's coming our way. I don't know what it could be, but it was it was a very strong vision too. So I'm okay with that. I'm sure you are too. So that's pretty much all I have. It was this past week went so fast. I literally feels like it should just be like Wednesday to me, but it's Friday apparently. One thing I want to invite you all to come to is next weekend on the 11th, I'm kicking off my 3-day meditation challenge. I didn't realize until now, but the 13th is Super Bowl Sunday. So it is what it is. I'm not going to change the date, but I would still love for you to come, even if you're going to like take a break on Sunday. And it's a free Facebook group. That's where I'm going to host it. The link is below. You can totally join. I would love to have you there. I've already this week I started working on the meditations for it. Oh, I'm like really excited. Like I just think it just has so much potential. And I know it's not for me, it's for everybody who's going to do this with me. So I'd love to have you there. Another thing is tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, I have my live group meditation. It's going to be on cultivating your creativity. So I'd love to have you join that. That link's below. Like I talked about earlier, my Etsy shop is open. Please go take a look. I would love to do a reading for you or make a meditation. And it's a beautiful way for you to support me and just say thank you. So that's it for me, you guys. I love being here. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this helped you on your journey. Love and light to you all. Namaste.